Starting.
I think it's just a McLaren. I think that's just what.
Oh, that makes sense.
It just tripped out, I reckon.
Yeah. But it turns out this oil wasn't coming from the engine. Oh, that smells. Wait.
Is it a gearbox oil?
Is it transmission oil?
It could be.
I think it's transmission oil. It smells like transmission oil. Yeah, that smells like gearbox oil to me.
Oh.
I don't think we should take the risk.
No, we're not. It's still a gearbox on this is probably going to be more than the engine, isn't it? That cooler there.
Oh yeah.
Is on the gearbox.
So that's what could be what is dripping.
Yeah. So we can't start the car with a gearbox oil leak because it's just going to throw oil out. Is that right? So we still have no conclusion to the engine sounded okay, but we're not sure. The gearbox, we don't know. There's oil coming out of it. The frame, we're about to find out because now we're taking it straight to a place which is probably going to decide whether that tub's repairable or not. And we've got our fingers, our toes, everything crossed that they can repair this. Else, I don't know what's going to happen. The place we're taking it to is called Individual Specialist Cars, and they're a McLaren approved repair specialist. They have to ask McLaren's permission before they do any carbon repair. And just to let you know what's at stake here, I bought the McLaren for £60,000, which could be a good deal because bearing in mind the cheapest you can get one is around £130,000 here, but it all depends on this tub.
What are you wearing?
If McLaren can't fix it, I'm a new McLaren technician. They don't know how bad the car is, so... Do we go in here? I think we go in here. This is going to be quite funny. This is it. This literally decides the fate of the car. If this tub can't be repaired, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I just hope they can do it. We bought a McLaren.
Were you in it when it happened?
No, we just bought it. Yeah.
How much do you think it will cost
to repair this?
to have that repaired?
It's whether they can even repair it anyway, but I think a good repair, my budget for that repair, £5,000.
£5,000, is that it?
And it wasn't long until the technicians came out to assess the damage. This was the moment we'd been waiting for. There you go. You got it. What's wrong with it? You got it? Yeah. Instant no. No, so that's nothing you touch then.
Wouldn't be allowed to. No. Being approved with something like that, all we can repair is about an area about this big.
Right.
That's all there. That underneath is the worst bit.
Well, immediately it was a no.
Wow. I wonder why.
Now what then? We're gonna have to do some searching here.
How are we going to get this off this trailer?
Don't worry, I've got a plan.
Okay, I don't think this is gonna be as easy.
This is going to be easy. Oh no, I'm going to do it.
He knows ours is gonna do it. First step was to get the McLaren off the trailer, which is easier said than done. One side has no suspension, wheels, or wheel hub. What was that? But we managed to get the car high enough to get all four arms of the ramp underneath it, and then we could lift it up and off the trailer. Do the rock test. I think that's as certified as it's gonna get.
We're in the air.
So we're still not quite sure where to start, but at least we've got it off the trailer now, and I think the main decider on whether this is going to be repairable or not is if the engine actually runs. And we almost got it started in the last video. Whoa! But there was an oil leak.
It's coming out oil.
Something's coming out! Stop! I hope that's coming from the gearbox.
Yeah, it turns out it is actually coming from the gearbox. Look.
Oh no.
So that's... Oh no. So this is a gearbox oil cooler, which is actually on the back of the gearbox, which cools the oil for the gearbox, surprisingly. What we want to do is try and get it started, but we don't want all the oil to come out like that. So
I reckon we do a professional repair with some filler.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. but not with filler, with Tiger Seal instead. We just need to come up with a temporary fix enough to hold the oil in so we can start the car. And I'm hoping this will work.
You're doing great, Matt. You're doing great. Keep it going.
I'm gonna shout if it won't stop. Ready? Yeah. Saying go to Mclaren Centre, but I'm here. Here we go. First time!
Oh, what?
Why did you do it first time?
It sounds mint.
It sounds wicked.
It sounds well good.
Yeah? Switch
Oh.
off.
What's happened?
That sounded good first time.
That's mint.
What was coming out? Is something come out?
What's happened?
It's coming out his repair. So
No, you're joking, really? It's coming out the Tiger Seal. Oh wow, yeah, that's not good.
It's siphoning out now.
Don't use Tiger Seal to fix your gearbox cooler.
Even though the gearbox oil was still coming out, it is great news that the engine is running and sounds good. This means it might actually be worth repairing this thing, providing we can find a way to fix the carbon on the tub. And although McLaren said that they wouldn't allow it to be fixed, doesn't mean it can't be fixed. The McLaren is in. First step is to get that door off. To see what we're exactly working with here, we need to expose all the area where the carbon tub is damaged. So we're starting off by removing that really damaged door. The front suspension and brake disc all look good, which is a bonus. And now we're just removing the arch lining so we can access the wiring connectors which go in through the door. And once we disconnected that wiring, we can slide it through the arch and then start to remove the inner arch lining so we can access the hinge bolts for the door. Oh, the weight!
Put it on the floor then. On the floor.
As a McLaren technician, that is
Not repairable.
not repairable. We now need to expose more of this damage down here and see if we can get our carbon fibre repairs on it. Now the door's off, we've got a much clearer view of where the carbon tub's damaged. But I want to make sure that that damage hasn't gone any further in the car. So I'm going to remove the driver's side seat first. 2 bolts at the front of the rails, 2 bolts at the back, and then 1 bolt holding the seat belt onto it. So this is the tub. And...
Ooh,
is it damaged in here?
looks alright in there.
It does look alright in here. But this, seal off. So what McLaren have said is that this part here, if it was here, it would be repairable. But this part here in the bottom, this is where all the strength is apparently. So like repairing that is quite dangerous, especially if you don't get it right. But I think it's gone underneath as well. It's like all the way underneath. Is it all the way underneath? Yeah.
Oh no.
Now the benefits of having a carbon fibre tub is obviously it's lightweight and it's super rigid, which helps for track use. The downside is that when it becomes damaged, it's almost impossible to repair. Especially in the place where mine's damaged. I actually think the whole thing is going to have to be retubbed. I think that is literally going to be our only option. So if we retub the whole thing, I know it's a massive job, but it all depends on how much a tub's actually gonna cost. Let's call McLaren, and our first sort of let's see how much a tub is from McLaren before we go anywhere, and then we can make this decision.
Hi, Drew Park Farmer speaking. How can I help?
Hello, this might be a bit of a weird one, but I've got a Mclaren 720S, and it looks like it's going to need a full replacement tub. Is that something that you can buy, or is the car done for?
It is something you can buy.
Oh, okay.
Limitation being, McLaren are fairly closed with supplying one externally.
Right.
So it would be a repair that would probably have to take place inside either a McLaren workshop or a McLaren body shop.
I don't suppose you have like a set price or anything like that, that's like just so we've got a rough price on whether we could say like, okay, this is worth it or it's completely out the ballpark.
No, they haven't got anything listed on the portal now for us, unfortunately.
So it's price on application for a new tub from McLaren, which just sounds expensive. And even if you go for it, the work has to be carried out by McLaren themselves, which is understandable.
Well, what's our other options?
We then looked on eBay and found a second-hand tub for £35,000. That's just not worth it. Like, I think that tub has come off this car here. 35, yeah, it was, yeah. So we paid 60 grand for a full car, 35 grand for a tub. That is just not, it's not looking good. So we were stumped until today. We've got a full McLaren 720S tub. Now, this was way cheaper than I ever expected. £5,500 for a full tub. And check this out. You can see, I can literally lift a car up. There's a few issues what we've found already though, which I don't really know what we're gonna do. This is a right-hand drive tub and we've got a left-hand drive car. So all these holes here, if you see here, this hole is slightly bigger than that hole. That's got different parts cut out of it. That is for the brake reservoir, and then this is for the steering rack. I would look at actually switching it over from a left-hand drive car to a right-hand drive car, but to do that, we'd need a new steering rack, a new dashboard, a new wiring loom, and new brake lines, along with loads of other stuff. And if you see on this car, well, the dashboard's all intact, so there's not really much point in actually replacing that. It just causes more unnecessary costs. So even though we now have a tub, which was super cheap, I didn't expect to run into the issue with the two tubs being different from right-hand drive to left-hand drive. But in the meantime, we've got no time to waste. The only way to get this car back on the road is to switch the tubs over, whether we're converting it to right-hand drive or staying with left-hand drive. And what we've got to do now is remove every part that's damaged on the car, so we know what we need to order. With the tub being 5.5 and the car being 60, we're looking good. It's okay.
Oh, that's going to be expensive. Oh, that is bent. Yeah, that's not good.
Oh. But more and more damaged components keep showing up. It is really not looking good for this McLaren. Switching over the tubs is going to be a huge job. We literally will be building a McLaren 720S from scratch. One of the biggest jobs I've ever done before. Whoa, is that a standard?
Whoa.
Turns out it wasn't standard, because this standard exhaust has a back box in it, and this one is just pipes. Check this out. So this is aftermarket exhaust, and I don't know if you can see the logo there, but they're Larini downpipes. Take it off.
Better not drop it.
It's a Larina. It's Larina.
Oh, how much?
Look.
How much is a Larini
It's a full
exhaust?
Larini system.
How much is a Larini exhaust then?
Larini exhaust, found it. £7,221 just for that back bit.
You can't replace that then.
That's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know which looks worse, this or that.
Yeah, there's going to be a point where this one looks worse than that.
Yeah, it might be now.
You may have noticed, but we started to take the engine out already. Oh, it did a wee. Whoa! Whoa! The fluid that just came out there was from the suspension. McLaren have this special suspension which is all linked between the four corners. The fluid is pressurised in a corner depending how the car sits when it's driving.
Taking off a few of these coolant hoses and whatever else is attaching it to the engine.
And that's what we've got to do to take the engine out. We're just disconnecting anything that connects the engine to the car. It would be nice just to unbolt the frame with the engine on and pull it away from the tub. But that's not quite how it works here. The engine is on a separate tray, which we have to unbolt from the rear frame. Now I'm dropping out all the oil for the engine Of course, this is a dry sump engine, so the oil is stored in a tank next to it. Then all the coolant, or what's left of it. And then to remove the engine from the rear frame, we've got to remove these grommets here, so we can access the bolts underneath it. This is a super long process, and we've got to remember how all of this went back in. So when I remove a bolt, I'm just putting it back into the place where it came from. Hopefully this will help on reassembler. There's just a few final bits to come off. Coolant's disconnected, aircon's disconnected, only fuel, which is not disconnected, but we think that it's these two red and green lines there. We're just going to the fuel rail, and we'll find out now when fuel goes everywhere in a minute. This is gonna squirt, isn't it? Oh! Now with the fuel disconnected, there's only a few final things connecting the engine to the actual rear frame of the car. So all that's holding it in at the minute is this engine mount here, well, gearbox mount, which is bolted all the way through here, which you need 9,050 extensions to get to. And then it's all on this big frame at the bottom, which is separate to the main frame here. So I'm just going to undo that now. Go on the right angle. Oh,
This is where you find out.
oh, there we are.
This is where you find out if you've left anything connected.
Yeah, we normally do. Strength.